Jai Gurudev children, today we are going to start next unit Money Matters. The first chapter is The Boy Who Broke the Bank. Let's start reading. Nathu grumbled to himself as he swept the steps of the People Nagar Bank owned by Seth Govind Ram. He used the small broom hurriedly and carelessly, and the dust, after rising in a cloud above his head, settled down again on the steps. As Nathu was banging his pan against a dustbin, Sitaram, the washerman's son, passed by. Sitaram was on his delivery round. He had a bundle of freshly pressed clothes balanced on his head. "Don't raise such dust," he called out to Nathu. "Are you annoyed because they are still refusing to pay you an extra 2 rupees a month?" "I don't wish to talk about it," complained the sweeper boy. "I haven't even received my regular pay, and this is the 20th of this month. Who would think a bank would hold up a poor man's salary? As soon as I get my money, I am off. Not another week do I work in this place." And Nathu banged the pan against the dustbin several times, just to emphasize his point and give himself confidence. "Well, I wish you luck," said Sitaram. "I'll keep a lookout for any jobs that might suit you." And he walked barefoot along the road, the big bundle of the clothes hiding most of his head and shoulders. At the fourth home he visited, Sitaram heard the lady of the house mention that she was in need of a sweeper. Tying his bundle together, he said, "I know of a sweeper boy who is looking for work. He can start from next month. He is with the bank just now, but they aren't giving him his pay, and he wants to leave." "Is that so?" said Mrs. Srivastava. "Well, tell him to come and see me tomorrow." And Sitaram was glad that he had been of service to both a customer and his friend. He carried his bag on his shoulders and went his way. Mrs. Srivastava had to do some shopping. She gave instructions to the ayah about looking after the baby and told the cook not to be late with the midday meal. Then she set out for the People Nagar marketplace to make her customary tour of the clothes shops. A large shady tamarind tree grew at one end of the bazaar, and it was here that Mrs. Srivastava found her friend Mrs. Bhushan sheltering from the heat. Mrs. Bhushan was fanning herself with a large handkerchief. She complained of the summer heat. She said it was definitely the hottest summer in the history of People Nagar. She then showed Mrs. Srivastava a sample of the cloth she was going to buy, and for 5 minutes they discussed its shade, texture, and design. Having exhausted this topic, Mrs. Srivastava said, "Do you know, my dear, that Seth Govind Ram's bank can't even pay its employees. Only this morning I heard a complaint from their sweeper who has not received his wages for over a month." "Shocking," remarked Mrs. Bhushan. "If they can't pay the sweeper, they must be in a bad way. None of the other could be getting paid either." She left Mrs. Srivastava at the tamarind tree and went in search of her husband, who was sitting in front of Kamal Kishore's photographic shop. He was talking to the owner. "So there you are," cried Mrs. Bhushan. "I have been looking for you for almost an hour. Where did you disappear?" "Nowhere," replied Mr. Bhushan. "If you have remained stationary in one shop, I might have found you, but you go from one shop to another like a bee in a flower garden. Don't start grumbling. The heat is trying enough. Oh, I don't know what is happening to People Nagar. Even the bank is about to go bankrupt." "What's that?" said Kamal Kishore, sitting up suddenly. "Which bank?" "Why, the People Bank, of course. I hear they have stopped paying employees. Hope you don't have an account there, Mr. Kishore." "No, but my neighbor has," he exclaimed, and he called out over the low partition to the keeper of the barber shop next door. Deepchand, have you heard the latest? The People Nagar Bank is about to collapse. You had better get your money out as soon as you can. Deepchand, who was cutting the hair of an elderly gentleman, was so startled that his hand shook and he nicked his customer's right ear. The customer yelped in pain and distress. Pain because of the cut and distress because of the awful news he had just heard. With one side of his neck still unshaven, he ran across the road to the general merchant's store where there was a telephone. He dialed Seth Govind Ram's number. The Seth was not at home. Where was he then? The Seth was holidaying in Kashmir. Oh, was that so? The elderly gentleman did not believe it. He hurried back to the barber shop and told Deepchand, the bird has flown. Seth Govind Ram has left town. Definitely it means a collapse. And then he dashed out of the shop, making a beeline for his office and checkbook. The news spread through the bazaar with the rapidity of forest fire. At the general merchants, it circulated among the customers and then spread with them in various directions to the beetle seller, the tailor, the jeweler, and the beggar on the footpath. Old Ganpat, the beggar, had a crooked leg. He had been squatting on the footpath for years, calling for alms. In the evening, someone would come with a barrow and take him away. He had never been known to walk, but now, on learning that the bank was about to collapse, Ganpat astonished everyone by leaping to its feet and actually running at top speed in the direction of the bank. It soon became known that he had 1,000 rupees in savings. Men stood in groups at street corners discussing the situation. People Nagar seldom had a crisis, seldom or never had floods, earthquakes or drought, and the imminent crash of the People Nagar Bank set everyone talking and speculating and rushing about in a frenzy. They speculated on the reason for the crash, putting it all down to excesses indulged in by Seth Govind Ram. The Seth had fled the state, said one. He had fled the country, said another. He was hiding in People Nagar, said a third. He had hanged himself from the tamarind tree, said a fourth, and had been found that morning by the sweeper boy. By noon, the small bank had gone through all its ready cash, and the manager was in a dilemma. Emergency funds could only be obtained from another bank for some 30 miles away, and he was not sure he could persuade the crowd to wait until then. And there was no way of contacting Seth Govind Ram on his houseboat in Kashmir. People were turned back from the counters and told to return the following day. They did not like that. And so they gathered outside on the steps of the bank shouting, "Give us money, our money, or we will break in. And fetch the Seth. We know he is hiding in a safe deposit locker." Mischief makers who didn't have a paisa in the bank joined the crowd and made the situation worse. The manager stood at the door and tried to explain to them. He declared that the bank had plenty of money but no immediate means of collecting it. He requested them to go home and come back the next day. "We want it now," shouted some from the crowd. "Now, now, now." And a brick flew through the air and crashed through the glass window of the People Nagar Bank. Nathu arrived next morning to sweep the steps of the bank. He saw the waste and the broken glass and stones scattered on the steps. Raising his hands in horror and disgust, he cried, "Hooligans, sons of donkeys! They haven't paid my last month's salary. Besides, it seems they want me to do double the work." He hit the steps with his broom, scattering the waste. "Good morning, Nathu," said the washerman's boy, getting down from his bicycle. "Are you ready to take up a new job from the 1st of next month? You will have to, I suppose, because the bank is going out of business." "How is that?" said Nathu. "Haven't you heard? Well, you would better wait here until half the people of People Nagar arrive to claim their money." And he waved cheerfully. He did not have a bank account and rode away on his cycle. Nathu went back to sweeping the steps, grumbling to himself. Then, when he had finished his work, he sat down on the highest step to await the arrival of the manager. He was determined to get his pay. Who would have thought the bank would collapse? He said to himself, and looked thoughtfully into the distance. I wonder how it could have happened.